this is like a box of air. We don't get no news, no talk, no nothing.
That's Lil Durk on a prison call with DJ Academics, opening up about his insane prison conditions. And yeah, the young man is really going through it, but that's not all. Durk also dropped some revelations that could seriously impact his case. Let's get into it. Behind the wall and fighting the case. Since getting booked at Miami International Airport, Lil Durk has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles. He pled not guilty to all charges on November 14, 2024 in LA federal court. His trial was initially set for January 7, 2025, but was pushed back to October 14, 2025 because the case is so complex, with over 230 gigabytes of digital evidence and 20,000 pages of paperwork. Durk has been denied bond multiple times, with prosecutors saying he's a flight risk, pointing to his travel plans to Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy, and bringing up other allegations connecting him to another body. His legal team offered $3 million for bail, including house arrest and property, but a judge wasn't having it on December 12, 2024. So what's life been like for Smirk on lockdown? Through limited jail calls and music drops, Durk has given us some glimpses of his bid. In one leaked jail call that hit the internet, Durk reportedly talked about refusing PC, protective custody, which some, like Academics, saw as a risky move for such a high-profile inmate. In a call shared on X, formerly Twitter, in April 2025, Durk mentioned he hasn't heard any tracks from his upcoming album Deep Thoughts since getting locked up. Most recently, in another recorded call that seems to be from late April 2025, we can hear Durk talking about how he's spending his days behind the wall. Check it.
Yeah, ain't nothing changed, bro. I just been focused on life, my family and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn how to speak Arabic again.
Wait, how you learn that? Like, how do you get to learn that? You got classes?
No, it's a couple guys here that trying to speak Arabic fluently. So I'm just learning the different words and, tighten up my Arabic, just getting my knowledge together.
This quick look into Durk's daily program shows he's trying to stay productive by learning Arabic from other inmates, and according to other reports, hooping 2v2 to stay active. But not all of Durk's jail communications have been on point. Reports say he hasn't been following jail rules about phone use, getting caught on three-way calls despite being told not to at the MDC in Los Angeles. Prosecutors brought this up as proof. He doesn't follow rules, which hasn't helped his chances of getting out on bond. Even while locked up, Durk has kept his name ringing in the music world. On March 28, 2025, he posted on X about his album Deep Thoughts, saying, "I wasn't gonna put this out, but then I remembered the streets need this. Not being outside with y'all when I drop is hard, but I know I will feel y'all love and energy through these walls." The album hit number 3 on the Billboard 200, showing his fan base is still riding for him despite his legal troubles. Durk also reportedly spoke from the pen in a phone call featured on Hypno Carlito's track Where Smirk Go, dropped on November 1st, 2024. In the call, Durk showed love to Carlito, calling him a brother and reaffirming his loyalty to Only the Family, OTF. However, some fans on X were saying the voice didn't sound like the real Durk. Now let's get into the legal battle that's going down as Durk's team fights to free him. Led by attorney Drew Finley, known for getting rappers out of jams, the defense is going hard against the charges. On April 19th, 2025, Durk's legal team filed motions to dismiss the superseding indictment and reconsider his detention, arguing that prosecutors used false and/or misleading grand jury evidence. Their first major argument is about the prosecution using lyrics from Durk's verse on Babyface Ray's song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, which dropped in December 2022. Prosecutors quoted lines like, "Told me they got an Addy, go go, got location, go go, green light, go 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 go," and a reference to someone yelling "no no," claiming these bars were celebrating the shooting and referencing a news clip of Quando Rondo reacting to Lil Pop's death. Durk's lawyers clapped back, saying the song was recorded in January 2022, 7 months before the August 2022 shooting, backed by sworn statements from producers, including Juice Vibes. This timeline makes it impossible for the lyrics to be about the incident, undermining the prosecution's claim that Durk was rapping about his revenge. Findling sarcastically said the prosecution's argument would require believing Durk can see the future. Their second major argument challenges the prosecution's claim that the song includes Quando Rondo's No No from a news clip. Durk's team says this is based on fan-made YouTube edits, not the original track. They argue Durk had nothing to do with these edits and that the government failed to connect Durk to these altered versions, calling them manufactured video clips from random internet users that shouldn't count as evidence. The motion claims that the prosecution's use of this misleading evidence is egregious misconduct, messing with the grand jury's protective function. The defense argues that these errors are serious enough to throw out the entire indictment and has asked to see grand jury transcripts to further examine the evidence if the case isn't dismissed. Along with the motion to dismiss, Durk's team filed for his release on bond, offering $2.3 million in Georgia property equity and $1 million in cash from Sony Music. A bond hearing was approved by Judge Patricia Donahue for May 8, 2025, though an earlier bond request was shot down. Adding to Durk's legal headaches, in February 2025, Andrea Laquila Robinson, Lil Pab's mother, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Durk, his business manager OTF, and a related company in Cook County Court. The suit claims Durk orchestrated the targeted attack that killed Robinson, but the murder-for-hire case involving Quando Rondo isn't the only legal issue Durk is facing. A 2023 FBI affidavit connects Durk to a second uncharged murder-for-hire plot targeting Stefan Mack, a suspected Gangster Disciples member in Chicago in 2022. This alleged hit is reportedly connected to the 2021 murder of Durk's brother, Dante Banks. Prosecutors have used this info to argue that Durk is a flight risk and should stay locked up, though he hasn't been charged for this second alleged plot. The case against Durk also raises bigger questions about using rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials, a practice that's being questioned more and more. Critics say this practice disrespects the art form and treats lyrics as literal confessions, unfairly targeting hip-hop artists for their creative expression. The trial, now set for October 14, 2025, will be closely watched by the hip-hop world and legal observers. If convicted, Durk is looking at a potential life bid, though his legal team remains confident they can challenge the evidence against him. As we wait for the outcome of Durk's bond hearing on May 8, 2025, and the eventual trial, it's clear this case is bigger than just one artist. It highlights the complex relationship between rap music, street culture, and the criminal justice system. Now let's explore how Durk's case fits into a pattern of rappers who've been locked up due to gang beef. The ongoing tension between Durk, NBA Youngboy, and Quando Rondo that may have contributed to this situation, and what Durk's current legal battle means. The bigger picture and legacy on the line. Lil Durk's case, while wild, isn't the first time we've seen this movie. Over the years, mad rappers have found themselves locked down because of alleged involvement in gang violence and street beefs. Let's look at a few cases that mirror Durk's situation. YNW Melly, a Florida rapper tied to the G-Shine Bloods, got booked in February 2019 for allegedly murking his homies and YNW members, Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas and Anthony YNW Sack Chaser Williams. The DA says the bodies were tied to internal gang politics. Melly's first trial ended in a mistrial in July 2023, and he's still locked up waiting for a retrial set for September 2025. Like Durk, Melly's case involves accusations of orchestrating violence connected to gang ties, with prosecutors using his music and affiliations as evidence. Then there's Tay K, a Texas rapper connected to the Daytona Boys gang in Arlington. His 2016 arrest came from a home invasion gone left, where he and his crew targeted an op during a lick, resulting in Ethan Walker getting bodied. In 2019, Tay K was found guilty of murder and aggravated robbery, catching a 55-year sentence. Similar to Durk, Tay K was a young rapper caught up in gang beef that turned deadly. K Flock, a New York drill rapper affiliated with the Sevside gang in the Bronx, got knocked in 2021 for the murder of Oscar Hernandez, allegedly connected to beef with the rival DOA gang. K Flock was found guilty in 2024 and is facing potential life. Like Durk, K Flock's case comes from drill music's hyper-local gang tension, where beefs get amplified through music and social media. Perhaps the most high-profile parallel is Young Thug, who was accused of running Young Stoner Life, YSL, as a Bloods-affiliated criminal organization. Arrested in May 2022, Thugger faced RICO and gang charges. After more than 2 years locked up, he copped a plea in October 2024 to lesser charges and got released on 15 years probation. Like Durk, Young Thug was accused of leading a music collective that the law labeled as a gang, with charges related to violence against ops. And there's C Murder, a New Orleans rapper signed to No Limit Records, who was tied to the Calliope Project's gang culture, convicted of second-degree murder in 2009 for killing 16-year-old Steve Thomas at a club. C Murder got life without parole and is still locked up despite ongoing appeals and claims of prosecutorial misconduct. These cases all share a common thread with Durk's. They show how gang beefs, often fueled by tough talk on tracks and social media, can lead to real violence and major legal consequences. They also highlight how prosecutors often use rappers' music, videos, and affiliations as evidence, potentially misinterpreting artistic expression as criminal confessions. Now let's dig deeper into the specific beef that allegedly led to Durk's current situation, the complex and deadly tension between Lil Durk, NBA Youngboy, and Quando Rondo. This beef goes back to friction between Lil Durk's Only the Family, OTF set, and NBA Youngboy's Never broke again, NBA camp. A major escalation happened after King Von got murked in November 2020. King Von, one of Durk's closest homies and an OTF signee, was killed in a shooting outside an Atlanta club during a fight involving Quando Rondo, who rolls with NBA YoungBoy. The details of that night are key to understanding what followed. King Von allegedly pressed Quando Rondo outside the club. Rondo's mans, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, let off shots that killed Von. Lil Tim was charged with murder, but released in 2021 after prosecutors ruled it self-defense, a decision that reportedly had Durk and the OTF camp ready for war. After Von's death, both sides were taking shots on wax and social media. Quando Rondo dropped a track, Could Have Been Me, allegedly dissing Lil Durk and King Von and referencing the shooting. Word is Rondo tried to dead the beef by DMing Durk, asking to talk things out, but these peace efforts apparently didn't go nowhere. Meanwhile, Durk and NBA YoungBoy kept trading subliminal shots in their music. In an unreleased track from 2023, Lil Durk allegedly hinted at having the chance to smoke NBA YoungBoy in Utah, making their beef even more heated. The industry side of this rivalry added another layer. Posts on social media claim Lil Durk tried to blackball NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo on Apple Music, reportedly telling the platform, "If y'all with those dudes, don't with me." While there's no solid proof of this, it suggests Durk was trying to cut off their industry connections. Ultimately, federal prosecutors allege that Durk's desire for get back over King Von's death led him to put a bag on Quando Rondo's head, the murder for hire plot that now has him facing life in the feds. This tragic chain of events shows the dangerous mix of rap beef and real street violence. What starts as competitive bars and social media flexing can escalate to deadly confrontations with serious legal consequences. The beef between these artists reflects deeper issues in drill music and Chicago's gang culture, where getting revenge for fallen homies is often seen as a code that trumps legal consequences. Social media and music have been gasoline on this fire, amplifying the beef and turning personal grudges into public spectacles. Fan theories, fake news, and edited videos have complicated matters further, as seen in Durk's defense against the lyric-based evidence. Perhaps most tragic is how Durk seemed caught between street loyalty and mainstream success. Despite his Grammy for All My Life 2024 and commercial wins, Durk kept his ties to OTF and Chicago's street life, a loyalty that many fans respected but others saw as a ticking time bomb. Unlike peers like Chief Keef, who distanced themselves from the block after blowing up, Durk stayed connected to O-Block and its dangers, a decision that may have led to his downfall. So what does all this mean for Lil Durk's legacy in hip-hop? If convicted, Durk could spend the rest of his days behind the wall, cutting short one of the most promising careers in modern rap. The artist who called himself the voice of Chicago would be silenced, with his musical legacy overshadowed by his legal troubles. Yet even from lockdown, Durk continues to maintain a strong presence in the music world. His album Deep Thoughts, released in March 2025 while he was locked up, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, showing his fan base is still riding with him. His influence on drill music and beyond is undeniable, having shaped the sound of today's hip-hop with his melodic approach to street narratives. Durk's case also raises important questions about the relationship between art and reality in hip-hop. Critics say that prosecutors' use of rap lyrics as evidence unfairly targets the genre, treating artistic expression as literal admission. This practice has faced growing criticism, with scholars like Eric Nielsen arguing it misrepresents the nature of musical storytelling. Beyond the legal and artistic questions, Durk's case represents a real human tragedy. Fans and commentators are hurt by his fall, especially considering his efforts to promote peace through his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation and mentorship work. His arrest led Broadview, Illinois, to take back an honorary key they gave him, showing the community's disappointment in someone many saw as a success story from the trenches. As of our latest info, Durk remains in federal custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles, waiting for his bond hearing on May 8, 2025, and trial on October 14, 2025. The outcome of his case will not only decide his personal fate, but may also set important precedents for how the system handles hip-hop artists and their creative expression. In the end, Lil Durk's story is a tragic example of how drill music's mix of art, street culture, and personal loyalty can spiral into deadly consequences. The beef with Quando Rondo, sparked by King Von's death, escalated through public disses and alleged revenge plots, landing Durk in federal custody facing life. While his defense challenges the evidence, the case highlights the high stakes of drill beefs and the system's approach to rap-related violence. The most painful part about Durk's life is that he started out strong and had such a bright future in the drill rap scene for a kid from Chirac. How did it all go to hell? From Chirac to the charts. October 24th, 2024, the day everything switched up for Durk Devontae Banks, known to the world as Lil Durk. The Fed snatched him up at Miami International Airport as he was about to jet off to Italy on a private plane. One minute he's living lavish, the next minute he's in cuffs. Game over. But to really understand how Chirac's voice ended up in federal custody, we gotta take it back and look at Durk's come up from the treacherous blocks of Inglewood to hip-hop stardom, and how the street life he never fully left eventually caught up to him. Born October 19, 1992, Lil Durk came up in the struggle. Growing up in Inglewood, one of the most savage neighborhoods on Chicago's South Side, young Durk was put onto the real-life hustle early. With his pops locked up when he was just 7 months old, Durk was mostly raised by his mom, a nurse who was trying her best to keep him off the block, but the streets were calling. As a teenager, Durk got put on with the Black Disciples gang, bounced from Paul Ropes in high school, and by 17, he was a young father. That responsibility had him taking his music grind seriously as a way to escape the trap. Music became Durk's ticket out. In 2010, he started dropping freestyles like Lamrin Wasted on MySpace and YouTube, building buzz in Chicago's drill scene that was just starting to blow up. His first tape, I'm a Hitter, dropped in 2011, followed by I'm Still a Hitter and Life Ain't No Joke in 2012, which pulled over 216,000 downloads on Dat Piff. That's major numbers for an unsigned artist straight off the block. Durk leveled up with his 2012 banger L's Anthem, later remixed with French Montana. This joint put him on the map as a key player in Chicago's drill movement alongside Chief Keef and them. By 2013, the success of L's Anthem and This Ain't What You Want had the majors blowing up his phone, leading to a deal with Def Jam for his squad, Only the Family, OTF. His fourth mixtape, Signed to the Streets, 2013, had the streets on lock, with Rolling Stone naming it the 8th best mixtape that year. With production from Young Chop and features from Lil Reese, Durk established himself as a melodic voice that could still speak that raw street talk. Durk kept climbing with his debut album, Remember My Name, 2015, which hit number 14 on the Billboard 200, carried by joints like Me featuring Jeremy. His follow-up, Lil Durk 2X, 2016, brought in heavy hitters like Future, Young Thug, and DJ Loaf, though it peaked lower at number 29. Tracks like My Beyonce with DJ Loaf went gold, showing Durk could reach beyond just the hood. After bouncing from Def Jam in 2018, Durk really started eating. His 2020 cut Viral Moment became his first Hot 100 entry as a lead artist, followed by bangers like Three-Headed Goat with Lil Baby and Polo G. Features on Drake's Laugh Now Cry Later and Pooh Shiesty's Back in Blood put him in every conversation about who's running the game. In 2021, Durk's joint tape with Lil Baby, The Voice of the Heroes, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. His 2022 album, 7,220 Inches, also topped the charts, and Almost Healed, 2023, hit number 3, led by the Grammy-winning All My Life featuring J. Cole, which climbed to number 2 on the Hot 100. By 2023, Durk had cemented himself as the most successful artist to come out of the drill scene, stacking paper to the tune of $8 million net worth, secured by a $40 million Alamo deal, streaming checks, tour money, and side hustles like Durk Landry Trucking LLC. But while Durk was getting to the bag, the street life kept pulling him back. Durk steady caught cases tied to his gang affiliations and Chicago's violent environment. In 2011, he caught a gun charge for having a pole with the serial number scratched off, catching a plea to a lesser charge. In 2013, he got booked again with a loaded .50 cal in Inglewood. In 2019, he was involved in a shooting in Atlanta, though them charges got dropped. These incidents, plus losing his people, his cousin, his manager, his brother D-Thang, and his man's King Von, showed the heavy price Durk was paying for staying connected to the streets even as his career was taking off. Behind all the hits and sold-out shows, a deadly beef was brewing that would eventually bring Durk down. This beef centered around the tension between Durk's OTF camp and another up-and-coming rapper named Quando Rondo. The tension between these two sets reached a breaking point on November 6, 2020, when King Von, Durk's right-hand man and OTF signee, got murked outside an Atlanta club during a scrap with Quando Rondo's crew. Von allegedly ran up on Rondo, and Rondo's homie, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, let off shots that killed Von. Lil Tim got charged with the body but was released in 2021 after the DA ruled it self-defense, a decision that reportedly had Durk and the OTF camp hot, seeing it as the system failing them once again. After Von got laid down, both sides were throwing shots on wax and social media. Durk's 2022 track Aha and Rondo's End of Story were pouring gas on the fire, with lyrics about Von's death and threats of get back. Word is, Quando Rondo tried to squash the beef by sliding in Durk's DMs asking to talk talk things out, but these peace talks apparently fell through, and the beef just got more heated. According to the feds, this is where Durk allegedly crossed the line from rap beef to criminal conspiracy. They say Durk, as the big homie of OTF, put a bag on Quando Rondo's head, offering bread and opportunities in the music game to anyone in his circle willing to carry out the hit. On August 19, 2022, 5 dudes allegedly tied to OTF, Kavon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston traveled from Chicago to Los Angeles on a mission to smoke Quando Rondo. They were trailing Rondo and his cousin, Saviaya Lil Robinson, who were riding in a black Cadillac Escalade, using 2 rented whips to follow them. At a gas station near the Beverly Center in LA, the squad let it spray, catching Lil but missing Rondo. The shooting involved a switch, automatic weapon, and put civilians in danger at a busy intersection. The evidence the feds are holding includes plastic linked to OTF, and Durk's former manager used to book flights and hotel rooms for the alleged hitman. A text from Durk to a homie saying, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me," and Durk's trip to Cali on a private jet with Grant on August 18, 2022, the day before the shooting. The feds also pointed to bars from Durk's 2022 song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy with Babyface Ray, which they claim referenced the shooting, though Durk's legal team would later say the lyrics were recorded before the incident and the feds are reaching. After the 5 OTF associates got snatched up in Chicago, the FBI found out Durk had booked one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland and a PJ to Italy. The feds took this as him trying to flee the country and grabbed him at Miami International before he could jet to Italy. On October 24, 2024, Lil Durk was booked and hit with conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and using, carrying, and discharging firearms, including a machine gun, in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. If found guilty, Durk is looking at potentially never touching road again. And so, the artist who called himself the voice of Chicago now finds himself on mute behind bars, waiting for a trial that could determine if he ever sees freedom again. Thanks for watching. Check out other boxes on the screen for more interesting videos.